Oh, come on. Come on, you piece of junk. Come on, start. Not again. Oh, let's see if the radio still works. Yeah, well. Yeah, there's... Well. Oh, that show Motor Mouse is on.
There it is. The red light just came on. So that means that we are on. This is the Motor Mouth Show. And today, I have a guest. I have Jason Ornelas, Absolute Auto Tech, on the corner of, where was it?
Capitolio and Sacramento, here in beautiful San Luis.
Yeah, that is almost downtown now.
Yeah, seems like it. I remember that was out in the boonies.
Yeah, it sure was.
Nobody was out here.
Yeah. So anyway, this is a call-in show. The telephone number is 543-8830. And
yeah, we almost have to put an 805 in front of that.
Oh, yeah, pretty soon. We're going to start 805.
805-543-8830.
Do we have to put the 1 too?
Yes.
Yes, the 1 and the 805. And that starts the 2nd of June, I think.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yep. So, well, so what? I mean, you have to, the people that has the automatic dialers, they have to take and redo their automatic dialers, but other people... You know, the thing is that the population is getting bigger and the telephone numbers are getting longer.
Yeah, they have to, I guess.
So,
you might remember this, Matt. We get a little off topic, but I have some old hangers and that I use still, from like laundromats and stuff, and it was like from San Luis Obispo was phone number 247.
That's an old hanger.
Yeah, that's an old hanger. Yeah.
But they're better than the ones you can get today.
Oh, yeah. Sure, yeah.
But I just think, I don't know if you remember that or not.
No. That was before my time.
Yeah.
That was the 543 numbers.
Okay.
But the different industries on the 543 number had a different beginning. So while the automobile dealers, usually their number started with the first number was for the automobile dealers. The barbers had theirs, and so forth and so on. So that was sort of divided up in a way so that you could you hoped you could get the right number.
That's interesting.
Yeah, of course that is no more, But think about the number of telephones that people have today compared to what there was 50 years ago.
Right.
Ah, boy, it's unbelievable.
Yeah. So anyway, it'll be 1-805-543-8830.
Yeah, and we're going to have to start putting that out on the air, yes. Anyway, so this is the Motor Mouth Show, and for those people that are listeners and usually listen to it all the time, we talk about things that happen to automobiles and, like that. My talk is about, to begin with here, about electric cars. I had a Ford plug-in hybrid, Z Max. Had it for 3 years, and used to drive it twice a week to Santa Maria, go to school and back. I was getting 99 miles to the gallon. And this car is a Ford. I can't remember what was the brand name for that, the Z Max, but it's the easiest car I ever had to get in and out of. So it was a beautiful car around town. You didn't have to bend over and knock your knees on the steering wheel or anything like that. You just fell into that car. So it was a really nice car. But it wasn't that stable on the road at higher speed. And I take that to be the electric steer. The electric steering gears are much more sensitive than the hydraulics. They are power steering. So it is not that easy to drive, and it is road sensitive to if you hit a lifting, a small variation of the road surface, it tugs on the steering wheel. So it feels almost like what they used to call bump steer. But outside of that, it was pretty good until some of the electronics inside the car start acting up. And, of course, evidently they hadn't road tested the car tested the car out for enough years prior to selling it. So by the time you hit 24,000 miles, the things in the dash start failing. Like the backup cameras failed, the charging system failed, and the dash went black, and so forth. And then it's going to fix that. That's no big deal. Fix it. Put the new parts in. Put a new module in. Except the module was on back order. So I was without the car for about a month and a half. But but my lease is up at the end of July, and so I'm turning the car in to Ford, and they're going to inspect it, see that the car is looking good, and then I get rid of it, and I got a Toyota instead. A plug-in hybrid, and that has a much better steering, has a much better feeling on the freeway, and has, but it isn't that easy to get into. The distance between the seat and the steering wheel is such that you sort of have to put that right leg in first. So, not everything can be easy in life. Anyway,
give and take. Give and take.
Yeah, give and take. Well, 543-8830, calling us if you have something to talk about. What about you, Jason?
Honestly, my favorite car still right now, actually, I drove this. We have a Bentley in the shop right now. That's a nice car. That is a really, really nice car. But not something I would own. Not that there's anything wrong with it, just that not something I would own. Honestly, my favorite car still right now is the Lincoln MKZ.
Okay.
My in-laws have one, and I drove it the other day, and I put, 30, 40 miles on it, and wow, what a nice car.
Yeah.
And it's a 2010, so it's not a new model at all.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's well thought out. It doesn't do anything spectacular.
No.
It doesn't, it doesn't even have heated, I don't think it's got cooled seats. I think it might have heated seats, but so it's not like it doesn't have a heated steering wheel. It doesn't even have navigation.
Yeah, right.
She bought it without navigation.
Yeah.
That was an option she chose not to get. And, but it's just, like I said, it's just so well thought out. The whole thing, everything's where you expect it to be.
Yeah.
It feels right when you're driving it. Yeah. It's comfortable and controllable.
Yeah.
It's not a ride on the ocean at the same time. It's not harsh at all.
Right.
It's just a really, like I said, just a really nice car, easy to get out of. Yeah. Just a very friendly car.
Yeah. Well, see, that's what you want. You want a car that's friendly, that you feel good about getting in and out of, and you don't have to fight it. And
it feels safe.
And it feels safe when you drive it. Yeah. What else do you want, actually?
Well, I want reliable.
And, all these navigation stuff.
That's MKX, right?
Yeah.
You are correct.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We're looking at the video screen at the different cars.
Yeah.
She's actually, and it's funny because she's like, I'm kind of liking the new body style, the new one, and her car's been just perfect. I mean, she's had, I think one of the taillight assemblies broke under warranty, and she's put a battery in it. There you go. Yes. The MKZ, beautiful car.
Yeah, they're nice.
They're just incredible. And so she's like, well, I really feel bad because I want a new car, but this one's been so incredible. I don't really want to get rid of it. Yeah. And so she's trying to, she's gonna sell it to a sibling, to a relative, so that she doesn't feel so guilty by buying another one. But she just loved to hear that kind of stuff. I love my car so much. I'm going to sell it to a family member.
Yeah.
Instead of, I forgot to get rid of this piece of garbage.
No. I mean, that thing. The only thing is, sometimes I feel they have too much stuff in the car. There's too many things to play with while you're driving.
Yes.
And I don't believe in that. I think that I was telling Jason this morning I'm going to work, and my sunglasses will sit on the seat. I was thinking about putting the sunglasses away up above the windshield. But no, I don't want to do that while I'm driving. I want to wait until I get someplace so I don't have to concentrate on getting the sunglasses up there. I want to concentrate on driving. And I've been very lucky in that I never had an accident. And because I have always paid very much attention to what's going on.
Right. Yeah. Well, and I agree. There is an incredible amount. Even if you look at my 10-year-old vehicle, there's nothing in there compared to the new cars.
Yeah, right.
And there's so much. I there's so much coming at you. It's almost, we're getting closer and closer to pilots as far as the amount of information and interaction there is.
Yeah, you need a co-pilot.
Yeah. But at the same time, the manufacturers are turning that corner and trying to make it as intuitive as possible on the newer cars, as far as touch screens, as far as voice commands, as far as steering wheel controls, so that your hand's on the steering wheel and you're touching things, heads-up displays.
Yeah, right, yeah.
There's a lot of things, excuse me, there's a lot of things the car automatically do.
Yes.
And then you preset ahead of time. There's a lot of cars that you actually stop, do your presets. Yeah. I want radio to do this, or the suspension to do that, or the way the car interacts with me. You set all that up ahead of time, and then when you go and drive, and some cars won't let you adjust it while it's moving.
Yeah.
So it's incredible what's going on.
So now you have vehicles like this, and now you're going to have the service on those vehicles. You have to take care of them, and now the maintenance of that vehicle becomes very, very important.
And the interval becomes very important.
The intervals so that make all the things. And so I don't know. The cars I've had lately, I lease them now. I'm leasing this one here for 3 years, and the one I had before leasing had for 3 years. And of course, I had to change oil at 10,000 miles. It only had 24,000 miles on it.
1.5 oil changes.
2.5 oil changes. So it's good. It's good. Now, let's talk a little bit about automotive repair.
Well, hang on. Yes. Since you talked about service, okay.
Yeah.
So on your old Toyota.
Okay, old Toyota.
Your old Camry. Yeah, old, beautiful old car. The oil change should be done about every 3,000 miles.
Yeah.
Well, if you oopsed and you forgot, or you got sidetracked, or you're in the middle of a trip, or whatever, and you went 3,500, not a big deal. You went 4, as long as you keep an eye on the oil, because it would start burning oil, and you kept it full, still not going to be the end of the world.
No.
But on your new car that says you can go, let's say, 10,000 miles, which I disagree with depending on how you drive.
Too. Yes.
If you go 11,000 miles, you're doing damage. You're harming the engine.
Oh, you are, huh?
And you're shortening its life.
Okay.
So it's kind of cool that you can go so far on oil change.
Yeah.
At the same time, you do not want to go over your interval at all.
Yeah. And not only that, but, they talk about heavy-duty driving and not heavy-duty driving. Well, heavy-duty driving is driving short trips in town.
Yes.
That's the worst thing you can do.
Start and stop.
Yeah, start and stop. And not warming up the engine very much.
And we don't.
That's right. Now, if you take a car and the engine runs more or less 24 hours a day, like on a cab, for example, you can go 10,000 miles.
Right.
Because all the stuff that is...
well, cabs really can't do that either, because it's all stop and start and idle. So you have to consider hours in. Yeah. And a lot of diesels actually will, almost all the diesels I know of actually consider hours, start, stops, towing. They consider how the car is driven when they enter the oil change interval. And in fact, I was just looking at a maintenance interval yesterday for a diesel, and it said you can go up to 1 year between oil changes. The truck decides, the management on the truck decides how far you can go. So it says we still want it done at least once a year, no matter how far you've gone.
Yes.
This is the manufacturer's recommendation.
Okay, yeah.
So I want it done once a year. You can go up to a year depending on how you're driving.
Yeah.
And it says if for some reason the interval gets reset, so the batteries are replaced, let's say,
right.
or you accidentally hit the reset, you need to change the oil at 3,000 miles.
Oh.
This is a vehicle that'll go 10, 12,000 miles.
Yeah.
But if you hit the reset, now the computer can't do that calculation.
Okay, all right.
And they want it done at 3,000 just in case you're doing heavy towing.
Yeah.
So which tells me that computer will actually calculate the 3,000 mile service interval up to a 10,000 mile service interval, depending on how you drive.
Yeah.
And with these new cars, I was talking to another customer, and the new cars, especially our turbocharged cars, which used to be diesels, but now everybody's running a turbo. the new turbocharged cars, you need to warm them up and you need to cool them down.
Yes.
Because you run that hot turbo, and these new turbos are spinning at really high speeds because they're really small, so that you don't have turbo lag. If you're not cooling that thing down, you run off the freeway to go get gas or go get a burger or whatever. Yeah. You're on your trip, whatever you do, and you roll off the freeway. You come to a stop, park in the parking lot, jump out, and run into the wherever you're going.
Yeah.
That oil just sits there and cooks in that super hot turbo.
Exactly. Yeah, I know.
And you ruin the turbo.
Yeah.
Especially with those extended service life.
Yeah.
Because all that muck is now in that turbo just baking inside, and then it restricts the oil passages, which now doesn't get lubricated, overheats, bang, you need a turbo.
Yeah. So, the one thing that people, they talk about turbo, they don't know how that turbo is driven. But the turbo is driven by the hot gases coming out of the exhaust. So by other words, there's a gases coming out of the exhaust, which is being forced out and is coming out real fast, are spinning that turbo. And on the other side of the end of the turbo is another fan that sucks air in.
Right.
Yeah. So it is the heat of the and you take a truck and drive for a while, you open the hood and you can see that the manifolds are glowing in there. Yeah. They're red hot. And if you had a turbo on that, you've got the red hot gases
being trapped inside with the turbo, right? Yeah.
So to cool them off is very, very important.
Yes. And you're talking real temperatures. I mean, to turn a cast iron manifold red.
Yes.
What are we at? 900? 1600. Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
So that's so the turbo's seeing, 800, 900 degrees at least.
Oh, yeah.
And now you're shutting it off. So that oil is sitting there just baking at 900 degrees.
Right.
So you need to bring that temperature down by letting it sit and idle.
Yeah. So with that nice hot manifold, if you want to cook a meal on top of the manifold, you can do that. You can wrap it in heavily.
we do that. We go to the snow in the Jeeps.
Yeah.
We'll take and put 3 or 4 cans of soup on top of the intake manifold, and we'll go play in the snow. And then we get to stopping at lunch. We pop the hood and open up the cans, and we have our lunch. It's all nice and warm, and
it works.
It's awesome.
I think I've been talked for 23 minutes.
Yeah, we need a call too still.
Yeah, we need some calls. Yeah, so
543-8830.
Yeah. So why don't we go for a break?
Okay, let's call and tell me what your favorite car is. I'm curious. I want to drive it. Whatever your favorite car is, I want to drive it. I love it.
Awesome. So we got a classic commercial here for the Buick Wildcat.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, have you heard about the new one? The new Dodge?
No.
Oh, it's like supposed to be the fastest. The 2018 is supposed to be the fastest mass production car, 0 to 60.
Wow.
I mean, Dodge is, there's a few of them out there that are just phenomenal.
Are we talking 0 to 60 in 20 seconds or 30 seconds or 2 minutes?
No.
I mean, like
5 seconds.
No, like 3, 2, incredible numbers.
Yeah, pretty soon they're gonna be.
Okay.
They could be minutes by minutes. They're gonna go.
I think they might have toppled the Tesla for 2018. Oh. Not that Tesla won't come back.
Awesome. So anyway, 1960s Buick Wildcat.
One of the first things I tried to teach my son was the appreciation of quality in fine hunting dogs, for example, or a handmade bird gun. In automobiles, too. This LeSabre Estate Wagon is my 6th Buick. It's the finest yet. But don't think I baby it. There's no test for a car like taking it off the highway and seeing how it makes roads for itself. This is part of the fun of owning a LeSabre, the way it sails over the rough fields. That's advanced thrust engineering. Naturally, being a Buick, it has more room than most wagons. More comfort, too. And, of course, a LeSabre's big Wildcat engine takes to the highway like those pointers of mine to an open field. Yes, the LeSabre is quite an automobile. And the surprising thing is, most people don't know it costs just a little more than one of those low-priced cars. Can't see why anyone would pay the price of a Buick and not get one.
When it's time to service your car,
or a warning light is starting to glow,
go see the pros at Absolute Auto.
At the corner of Sacramento and Capitolio.
Having a problem with the brakes or the steering down below?
Or an alignment to adjust the tow?
Computer systems, they do know.
Call 543-8737 to reach Absolute Auto.
Here's some inside information to get your gas mileage back. Inside your engine, carbon builds up, clogging the injectors and combustion area. If you want your fuel system cleaned in just one tank of fuel, use what the inside car guys use most. It's called BG44K. In fact, service managers use it almost 3 to 1 over any other fuel system cleaner. To find a shop with BG products, go to bgfindashop.com. That's bgfindashop.com.
BG. Hi, this is Jeff Spevack, Motormouth co-host and owner of Continental Motorworks. What can you expect here at Continental? We will treat you and your car with care and respect and gratitude. We will bend over backwards to earn your trust. You will fully understand what we are doing on your car and know how much it will cost before we do the work. You will always get value, a fair exchange. You work hard for your money. We believe we should work smarter and harder for what you pay us for. Now in our 36th year, we fix it all. Cars, trucks, SUVs, and hybrids.
Call Jeff at Continental Motorworks at 541-1464. Mention this ad and receive 10% off labor.
Like the roses.
Oh, Mama.
The king. In the yard.
Happy Mother's Day.
There you go. Happy Mother's
yeah, that's
Day.
right.
That is
But
awesome.
Tomorrow,
I
am very fortunate. I'm very fortunate. My wife's a great mom.
Yes. Oh, you are. You have a very nice wife.
I have an awesome wife. I can't complain.
No, she's done the shop for quite a few times, and it's nice you coming in there. You have a nice lady greeting you and so forth. It's very nice. Anyway, this is the Motor Mouth Show. Our telephone number, if you want to call us.
We need some calls.
It's 543-8830. Today's guest is Jason Ornelas. He owns the Absolute Auto Tech shop that we've been talking about on the corner of Capitolio and Sacramento. And so Sacramento is, of course, the capital, and Capitolio is the building there, right? So something like that.
Right in the corner, yeah. Right in the corner. People, where are you at? Right in the corner.
So and our telephone number is 543-8830. Now, I would like to talk about some of the things that Jason has in his shop. He bought the equipment that I had in my shop when I retired about 10 years ago. And he has upgraded the equipment that I had that was not getting old at that time, but it's getting old now. And he has the capability that very few people in San Luis Obispo has. And I don't think that anybody else has the capability in wheel alignment that he has. Now, we're going to get back to that, but we'll talk to John from Cambria first. Hello, John.
Hey there, guys. I have a quick question for you.
Go ahead.
I kind of got a little bit of the ending, your discussion about the turbos on the diesels. I've got a 1991 Dodge diesel pickup, and it has a turbo on it. So I was wondering, sometimes I do some quick trips with it. Should I just leave it run to cool off the turbo, or is that a problem?
As you come off the freeway, if you come off driving, let it idle for about a minute, at least.
They actually used to have, and got to be really popular, especially the Dodges, turbo timers. And basically the turbo timer would keep the engine running. You pull the key out, you'd walk away, lock the car, and the engine would keep running for whatever you set it for, a minute, 3 minutes, 5 minutes. And it would cool everything off. No one could drive your car. It wouldn't start, it wouldn't restart, whatever. And you could just leave it run. I really like those because it really can extend the life, especially like yours. I mean, basically that's a truck engine design. This is not a pickup design, your truck, in those years. You had horrible turbo lag, everything else. But yes, I would, honestly, I just let it, if you're just going to run in and grab a coffee, let's say, I just let it idle. It's not going to hurt it.
Well, you see that law now. You can't make a car idle more than 10 minutes.
Well, but if you're just grabbing a cup of coffee, it shouldn't take 10 minutes. If it's going to be 10 minutes or longer, you need to shut it off.
Because you notice that these delivery vans, they go on, or delivery trucks around town with diesels, they will sit and idle for a little bit after he gets out of the truck. He has got timers on them.
Right. Okay. But those are cars that are not zero emission rated. Not idle emission rated. Yeah. So they elected not to buy the engine that was idle rated. Yeah. Some of them have to be, like you have PTO or something like that, or like the guys that run the truck for deliver cold stuff, milk or meat. Those trucks have to be able to idle.
Yeah. So does this answer your question?
Well, so what I should do then? I mean, a lot of times if I go for a long trip or something, then I'll just let it idle. Before I shut it off, I'll let it idle for about a minute.
Minute or two, yes.
It depends on how heavy. Sometimes I go for a short. I just go up and down the road for a short amount. I should let it idle for a minute also before I shut it off.
Anytime you're using that turbo and the exhaust gets hot, I would.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It depends on how heavy you use it. Now, you're pulling a trailer now, for example, and, the turbos on your truck probably doesn't start actually working very well until you hit about 21 or 22,000 RPMs.
Okay, so the turbo on his truck, it comes in late because it's an older turbo. The new cars, the turbo's used all the time. Like on my 03, it has a variable vane turbo. So they're actually adjusting the way the air hits the turbo so it spins up, and they're utilizing more of that heat.
Okay.
So honestly, I'd let it cool off all the time. Okay. It's just better for the car.
Just let it cool off for a minute every time I use it.
And then if you're pulling something heavy load,
the doesn't go on. I mean, like if I'm driving it slow, it seems like I don't hear it. But if I'm going up a road or something, I can hear it kicking in.
Yeah,
but when I'm just driving around, sometimes it doesn't kick in.
On your old truck, it probably doesn't. It's not used nearly as much as the newer cars. So,
but I'll just let it cool off. I'll just idle it for a minute every time before I shut it off, no matter what I do.
I would. I just find something to do for a few moments on mine.
But a minute is enough, or should I go 2 minutes?
Depends on how hard you're using it.
So if I use it pretty hard, I should maybe go 5 minutes?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then if I'm not using it too hard, then maybe a couple minutes.
Yeah. Right, yeah.
Right.
No, there's another thing while I got you on there. It's a 1991 Dodge diesel. And it has this thing, I guess it said throttle, and you pull it out, and it'll speed you could just be at idle or just out of gear, and you pull it, and it has gets the engine to go faster. What is that for?
It's a hand throttle.
It's a hand throttle?
Yeah.
Well,
so it'd be for a PTO. You'd be using it for a PTO, that kind of stuff.
PTO, and then, or if the mechanic's working on it, they can just get it to throttle up and all that.
The other thing it could help warming it up in the mornings, that kind of thing. So the engine RPMs are higher in the morning to warm up faster.
And then what I usually do with that is I don't move it until the oil pressure goes up. I mean, I'll start it, it's got these glow plugs, so I let it beep for a while, so the glow plugs, I guess, warm up, and then I start it, and then I let it run until the oil pressure gets up, then I'll move it. Is that
You're doing the right things.
Yes, that's what I would do.
Okay. Yeah, thank you guys. You're very informative.
Thank you, John. You have a great day.
One thing I've noticed actually too, like you were talking about delivery drivers and stuff, like we have a UPS right across the street here, and I notice it more with their delivery trucks. They'll jump up, shut the truck off, and then they start it again. And that's so much the idling, but worrying about somebody driving off with the truck too. But I do notice that they don't let the truck sit there and idle usually.
Well, the UPS trucks, they're going to have GPS built into them. Uh-huh. So if somebody takes it, I know exactly where it's at, no matter where it's at. Yeah. They also have, the newer trucks have a key, and you take off with the key. The truck will sit there and run, but if it shuts off, that's it.
Yeah.
Hey, now, we got to go to Jack.
Okay, yeah, sorry.
Jack has been on the telephone for a long time. Hey, Jack.
Hello, you guys. Now I know why I don't want a turbocharger on my car.
Oh, yeah. No. The Surface, they're good. They give you extra boost.
Yeah, I know what they're for, but just a big hassle with them. It's like me. I come from the old school of oil changes. I'm still 3,000 miles. I just can't get it out of my head that I could go 5 and 6 and that kind of stuff on an oil change. Yeah. But I try to do my oil changes every on 3,000 miles and all that other stuff.
But you probably don't drive your car that much.
No, we don't. Just that's the whole thing. Yeah. Is it's quite a bit of it in our area. We live in Arroyo Grande, and it's just around town.
Yeah. So, Bobby, you probably don't drive more than 6,000 miles a year, which gives you 2 oil changes in a year.
Yeah, just a little over that. Yeah. But you guys were talking. You said something about that Dodge, that new Dodge that has all that horsepower.
Yeah.
And they had one at Cold. Chrysler when I was in there last, and all that's well and beautiful car, and in fact, to scare the hell out of you looking at it. But the beautiful thing, but the price on it was $83,000.
Oh yeah, they're not giving them away.
Boy, they sure are. But like I said, I change my oil every 3,000, and also all the other stuff around 60,000. Yeah. But now, I have a Chrysler 300C, and it has a large engine in it,
Yeah.
That what do you call it, a hemispheric or Hemi engine.
A Hemi.
Yeah, and it takes 7 quarts of oil when I change it.
Well, that's oil is being used for lubrication and for cooling.
Yeah. So it's a good thing. It's 3,000 is good enough for me, and I heard one now, I believe it was Mercedes, I heard one of them advertising 20,000 miles on a change.
Yeah, I know. They
now,
do that.
No way could I do that. No way.
No.
Now,
okay.
From what I understand, they've improved the oil. Since I started changing my oil.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's why it can last longer, but still I'm the old school guy.
Yeah. Right, and the new engines, of course, are built to more closer specifications than the old ones.
Right,
and,
So, I wished I could break that habit because it gets expensive.
Yeah, right.
But I have a hard time doing that.
Yeah, right.
And I wish we could go back to the old days when you had a toggle switch, one side said off, one side said on. And everything worked good.
Yeah.
Actually, Jack, I'm looking at the 2018 Dodge Challenger SRT Demon right now is what they call it.
Yeah.
And the MSRP is $83,295.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Same as the Corvette.
Yeah.
Corvettes are going over 100,000 now.
800. Actually, you're wrong on the horsepower. 808 horsepower.
800.
Sorry, that's the Demon. I was looking at the other one. But
okay, that's another one.
So I was wrong. I was wrong car. Yeah, that's what I was listening about. I heard about.
Well, Jack, very nice of you to call.
Thanks for the phone call.
Okay, thanks for being there.
Bye-bye.
So, I agree that turbos are another thing that can go wrong, that are can be problematic. But if you look at new cars and fuel efficiency and trying to, in our attempt to bring fuel efficiency up at the same time, give us the same driving and handling characteristics of our older cars. Yeah. So we're not just trying to bring fuel efficiency up. What we're trying to do is bring the quantity of carbon dioxide down.
Yeah.
Because we're doing a great job of burning oil, or burning fuel. We want to bring the quantity of carbon dioxide down. The way we do that is changing the displacement. And another way to do that is add a turbocharger. Yeah. So then our engines are more efficient.
Well, we're getting telephone calls now, and this is really nice. Now we're going to talk to Carolyn from Morro Bay. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, I have a question about a product.
Wait a second. I can hardly hear you.
Oh.
So go and talk again.
Oh, okay.
Carolyn, are you on a speakerphone or are you talking directly into a phone?
Directly into a phone.
Okay. Can you hear her now?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
There was a product called Prolong.
Yeah.
Yeah, what happened? I can't find it anymore.
What's it used for?
You put it in your oil. It's supposed to. It's almost like a.
Was it very heavy and sticky and thick?
Not that I know of. No, we used it for years, and then all of a sudden it was off the market. We used to get it like any auto supply, like Kmart or Track Auto or anywhere.
Well, there's a lot of these additives that has been discontinued because of the smog has something to do with it. And that's the reason they have changed the oils quite a bit. And it is very important on these cars now that you buy the oil that the manufacturer recommend. In other words, you cannot buy and put any kind of oil in the car. For example, on a Volkswagen car, you have to use the oil or should use the same oil that the manufacturer recommends.
The part number oil, not the viscosity, not the weight. So probably what's happened, why you're not seeing it, is because less and less people are putting additives in their oil. So you're going to have to go to a larger, a more specialty shop, as a more specialty distributor. So not like Kmart, but more like West Side Auto or somebody that just does automotive. And then the other thing is you may have to go online to buy it because, like I said, I think less and less people are using additives. And the other thing is Lucas and some of the others have become more mainstream and have taken over the industry. If that makes sense.
Okay.
It does.
One question.
I do see a website, Carolyn, that says you can get it at Home Depot.
Oh. Really?
It does.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe just online.
One thing I wanted to say.
Okay.
I had a 1973 Volkswagen Super Beetle.
Yeah.
It was a great little car. And you were talking about regular oil change. I was very careful with my little car.
Yeah.
I took it to the dealership in Southern California, and they did the oil change. This has been a while back. And remember that oil that had made by Shell Company with fire and ice?
Yeah.
Oh boy, it just smoked that car out.
Yeah, that was a paraffin-based oil, and had a lot of paraffin in it. It was not a good oil.
No, I found that out.
Yeah.
Going over the ridge route to see these people and over, and they thought my car was on fire as so much smoke went out.
Yeah.
And I was told when I sold the car that anybody that wants to buy a Volkswagen should check and see if that's been used in their engine before.
Yeah. Well, those air-cooled engines, in many cases, run hot and had some good oil in it.
Oh, okay.
Well, they had a lot bigger variances in temperature because you didn't have a thermostat to control the temperature. It was whatever air went by, and if it had hot air on a hot load, on a heavy load, you had a hot engine.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for calling.
Mm-hmm. Bye.
Bye-bye. We actually have one of those in the shop right now. Okay. Convertible.
Yeah. Now let's go to another break, and then we come back, and I want to talk about alignment. But I mean, if people call, that's fine. 543-8830. Call me. That's fine. Or call us, rather.
All right, I got a classic commercial. I'm not going to say which car it is this time because last time was, I thought it was Wildcat, but it was LeSabre. But anyway, got another 1960s Buick commercial here.
Fine, all right.
Wildcat, where? There. Wildcat by Buick. This Wildcat has more horses than you'll ever need. Wildcat, a new full-size Buick, born only this spring. Buick Wildcat. Hot? Look. Sports car console. Tachometer, of course. Bucket seats. Bucket seats. Fabric on the hardtop. Fabric on the hardtop. Wildcat. Buick Wildcat. Just out. Something new for spring. Something wild for spring. Buick Wildcat.
When it's time to service your car,
or a warning light is starting to glow,
go see the pros at Absolute Auto.
At the corner of Sacramento and Capitolio.
Having a problem with the brakes or the steering down below?
Or an alignment to adjust the tow?
Computer systems, they do know.
Call 543-8737 to reach Absolute Auto.
Your car's fuel economy was never better than when it was new. But time and miles have robbed your car of its MPG and performance. Service managers recommend BG44K to remove carbon and restore mileage in just one tank of fuel. In fact, dealerships nationwide use BG44K almost 3-to-1 over any other product. To find a shop with BG products, go to bgfindashop.com.
BG. Can you imagine selling your car next week and saying to the buyer, hey, don't worry, because the engine is covered against failure for life. It's called the Lifetime Protection Plan for the Engine from BG Products. Now imagine having this huge benefit free with your next oil service when you remember these two letters, BG. BGMOA is available at over 20,000 shops nationwide. Find yours at bgfindashop.com. That's bgfindashop.com.
BG. Hi, this is Jeff Spevack, Motormouth co-host and owner of Continental Motorworks. What can you expect here at Continental? We will treat you and your car with care and respect and gratitude. We will bend over backwards to earn your trust. You will fully understand what we are doing on your car and know how much it will cost before we do the work. You will always get value, a fair exchange. You work hard for your money. We believe we should work smarter and harder for what you pay us for. Now in our 36th year, we fix it all. Cars, trucks, SUVs, and hybrids.
Call Jeff at Continental Motorworks at 541-1464. Mention this ad and receive 10% off labor.
And we're back. Jason is here with me today from Absolute Autotech, and he says he wants to talk about maintenance on recreational vehicles. Is that what he said?
Yes, sir.
Okay, talk about it, Dad.
It's motorhome season. It's travel trailer season. It's traveling season. We need to make sure we look at our motorhomes on our travel trailers, and you know it's great that they're washed and cleaned, but you think about that thing sitting all winter, and now we're jumping out and going to go out and use it. And when's the last time the tires pressure was checked? And when's the last time the coolant level was checked, or the rear differential fluid was replaced? Or when's the last time we looked at the tires to see how old they are? I try, and the people that bring in their cars, their motorhomes and travel trailers, I try and look at those kinds of things, because as far as I'm concerned, I get a very precious few vacation days per year. And if I'm going to take my toy out and take the family or whatever we're going to do, and something happens mid-trip, that ruined that vacation. And I feel like I got robbed.
Yeah, right. I agree with you.
And nothing worse than your rear differential or silly whatever happening on your motorhome, or losing a tire and tearing up your trailer. That just ruins a vacation and frustration. And you come back to work and you're more frustrated than you left before your vacation. And you need a vacation from your vacation.
Right. So, by other words, what do you recommend then? They bring it in and you check them out?
Yes, bring it to wherever you like, whatever you're comfortable with, whatever you love. Take it, have somebody look at it before your trip, and several weeks before the trip. Bring it in a month before the trip.
Oh, yes.
That way, if there's some odd part that has to be ordered, or there's a line because you're not the only person looking to have your car checked, spend a little bit of preventive maintenance on it will really make your vacation completely uneventful and just a smooth, enjoyable trip.
Right.
So there's my 2 cents. I try and do that every time on my own vehicles also.
Yes. Especially if you have trailers with boats on them. The boat trailer has been in the water when you pulled it out of the water last fall, and the trailer might have been sitting with water in the bearings.
With the bearing buddies, it makes a lot better nowadays than it was.
Yes.
But still, how many years has it been since those bearings been repacked? How many years has it been since you put tires on that?
Right.
How have you tried to start the engine on the boat? Almost every year I put a new battery in my boat because I cannot seem to push start that sucker out on the lake. Doesn't matter how many of us there are.
Can't tow start it.
No.
You're servicing motorhomes. Brought about a thought here. Several years ago when I was a kid, actually we had a motorhome, and just checking everything out, even like the stuff for the interior, like for the water pump that feeds the kitchen and feeds the bathroom.
Right. Yeah.
My sister was in the shower one time, and the interior water pump went out
in the middle of the shower. Oh, now what do you do? Yeah. It's not like you just have a cold shower. You have no shower.
Yeah.
That's your only source of water. You walk out to the creek.
I think we actually, and she hated this, we had to do a bucket brigade at a gas station.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So just check all that stuff before you go out, so yeah, you want to check all that stuff just to make sure that it's not on the verge of going out or,
just glance. At least look at it because so many of them start leaking. Like you're saying, I've seen a lot of those little pumps where they just start weeping. They're still working, but they're weeping.
Yeah.
And they just weep for 6 months or 3 months or whatever. And then they ruin the whole floor they're on. And now you got a real expense too.
Well, now luckily we were near a larger city that actually had a motorhome place there. And they had the water pump there. And that was not that hard to change.
No, they're not. But still,
you don't want to be out in the middle of nowhere and your stuff starts going out on it.
No, that's horrible. So yes, all that stuff I agree with. Checking the refrigerator ahead of time. Because after they sit, refrigerators sometimes don't like to light off and work. Checking the heater, the hot water heater, all that stuff. Checking, make sure you have enough propane. Because even
fill up the propane tanks.
Yeah, even something as silly as the propane tank, and you're driving your motorhome and the propane tank goes out, so you have to put everything away, lock it all up, then drive to town and get propane, drive back, and there's a whole day gone.
Well, we have a couple of minutes left, but so I want to talk about the capability that Jason has at Absolute Autotech. He has a pit, so he can align the big trucks. And we're talking about anything up to a 10-wheeler, no problem. And on the 10-wheelers, quite often they will pull. You're driving this car and you pull and say, my alignment is off. No, the alignment is not off, but your rear axles are out of alignment.
Yeah.
And we have the equipment, the laser equipment, to line up the rear axles at the shop.
Yes.
Right? He still has that. I had that many years ago. And he used to do a lot of this and helping the people out that had the 10-wheelers. And, we went out there to look at the 10-wheeler. He came in and he had the front, he had a pull. So we started looking around the car and we walked to the rear wheels and we would run our hand across the tires on the rear wheels and see if we could feel any feather edging. By other words, if you put your hand across and pull across the tread, if there's sharper treads on one side than on the other side, or to go there, put the hand across. So the driver would say, "What the heck are you doing to the rear tires? I mean, I got a wheel alignment problem."
Right.
Well, his wheel alignment problem was that the rear axles were not pulling straight forward.
Mm-hmm.
And so the thing is that we have nobody in San Luis Obispo has that capability. Also in Santa Maria they do.
Right.
Yeah. And and heavy duty trucks they go across corners and then take the rear wheel jumps over the curb, and you do that quite a few times and you knock the rear axles out.
Right.
The U-bolts get a little loose and you cut the center pin on a spring and now the car is not going straight down the road. How often have you got behind a big truck and a trailer, and actually the trailer's not following the truck? It's going sideways a little bit more. It's because the rear wheels of that trailer is out.
Right.
And I mean, if the trailer wheels are out, you got to line those too.
Yeah, we can. Yes.
Yeah.
So and we can do the E450s, the F450s, the 550s. We can do some of the small motorhomes, even like the Mercedes if sometimes they'll get heavy and they can't be done on a regular alignment rack, and we can align those.
Yeah.
We can align anything, but no matter what you have.
I know. You got more than 3 wheels.
What was that little English truck we did, or car? The little tiny guy barely fit on the rack. It was almost fell off the rack. It was so narrow.
Yes.
That was the smallest one we've done that I know of.
Well, I've done 3-wheelers.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I've never done one of those.
Done Hummers. And not only that, some of these cement trucks, there's the pumpers that has 2 front axles.
Yep.
Well, line those.
Yep. We can do that, no problem. Yep.
Yeah. So, by other words, at Jason's, at Absolute Autotech, they can align whatever you have, and they have people that knows about the problems that are with those vehicles, and they know what to check.
And we spend the time to play. We spend the time to look it over. We try and take extra time sometimes. Sometimes it takes extra time, but we try to take that time so that we do the job the right way and get it done so that it makes it better. Because we're there. That's what we're there to do, is make. You
are doing the alignments the way that we used to do many, many years ago. It's not just setting the toe on a car. Correct. I mean, like that most of these alignment shops are doing today. They set the toe and let it go. And that will last for a while, but it doesn't sometimes correct the problem. If you have a pull on a car, a front-wheel drive car, it might take something that they don't know about to get it fixed.
And the other thing is, if you're paying, a very low price for alignment, there's not enough labor time in there to do much other than set a toe and let it go.
Yeah, right. I know.
So, that's part of it too. You're asking for a 49-cent burger. You're not going to have lettuce and tomato and, pickles and onions and sesame seeds and everything else. It's going to be just a bare burger bun type of thing.
Yeah.
So, you got to consider that whenever you're buying, whether it's auto repair or cars.
Yeah. If you're driving by his place, on the corner there on Capitolio and Sacramento, you'll see a lot of cars. So give him a call. What's your telephone number again?
It's 805-547-1062, 1062.
1062.
Yeah.
Give him a call and set up an appointment, because especially if you have a larger vehicle, his lot is not that big. And he's going to have to make room for you.
And we do have to jockey a little bit here and there, but it is San Luis Obispo, and what choice do you have?
Well, I mean, that's true. But still, the thing is to tell them that you're coming and let them check it out, and then that's what they will do. If you bring a vehicle in for wheel alignment, they'll check it and tell you what they need to be done, tell you how much it will cost to have that done, and then it's up to you.
And we also look at other things while we're not just blind. We look at just alignment, and then brakes are metal, and we go, well, it's too bad you didn't ask me about that. We look at those kinds of things. We try to make sure.
Guys, we got about 30 seconds to get the other sponsors in. So
the sponsors,
all right, let's roll.
That's your job.
BG44K Products.
You got promoted recently.
That's right. Yeah, that's it. Continental Motor Works. Absolute Autotech.
Thank you. Our pleasure.
And then we've got the Slow Bike
Coalition.
Yeah, so
.org or whatever.
Yeah, so slowbike.org, Slow Bike Coalition. Anyway, so those are the sponsors of the show. So
that's the people that pay they call it pay the freight. They're paying the radio station. That we on the Motor Mouth Show are not getting paid. Yeah. This is a free show from San.
Speak for yourself, but
well, you are the one. You're
the guy that knows something, though.
You are the engineer.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you.
See you next Saturday. Jeff will be here.